Canada's heading into a recession. That's what the economists say. Should you put your home buying plans on hold? So Bank of Canada raised the overnight rate by 50 basis points this week. Prime is now at 5.95. Wow, whoever thought we would get here? Well, I guess after COVID, anything is possible. So that means if you are looking to get a mortgage to buy a house, you will now be qualifying at contract plus 2%. It's getting tough, guys. But there's a silver lining, and I always like to kind of make fun of the doom and gloom headlines because, hey, I've been in the real estate world for a decade now, and it's never quite as bad as people say, especially if you're in Alberta. And that's what I want to talk about today. Let's just go through Alberta economics and real estate by the numbers, and you can decide at the end of this if you should still buy a house, but I kind of think I know what the answer is going to be. So if we go into a recession, that means GDP, the economy across the country starts to contract. However, let's look at the numbers for Alberta and the Prairie provinces because it looks pretty good, guys. Now look at our GDP growth in 2022 so far. Like we are sitting pretty, y'all. Alberta's a good place to be. And I'm just going to be political. Thank you, conservative government. Now the forecast for 2023 is the lighter yellow bars in the middle here, and 2024 is the orange bars. But look, we're still showing some GDP growth for next year and across the Prairie provinces, whereas there's contraction forecasted out east. So that's good news. Now look at this. This is a chart showing net migration numbers for population growth in Alberta. Look at this. So do you think that policy has an impact? Like, yeah, oil prices, I know everyone says, you know, Alberta is just sitting on oil reserves and we can just sit pretty and, you know, make all this money and watch the economy boom. Well, I think it's more than that. I think it's low taxes. I think it's an extremely affordable real estate market. And we know that a lot of these numbers for interprovincial migration are people coming from Ontario, where real estate prices are frankly insane. And when I was practicing real estate up until not that long ago, a lot of my clients were people coming to Alberta for our affordable real estate and lifestyle. And guess what? They were taking their money off the table in BC and Ontario. So like, this is pretty impressive. And then a part of this is also immigration. So really cool. Alberta's doing really well in terms of provincial net migration. And in fact, we added 40,000 new residents in Q2 of this year. So there's that number. Let's look at real estate prices over history. And you know, I'm having some clients say to me who are house shopping, they're pre-approved with me, and they're like, I'm getting nervous about offering on a home. I hear we're going into a recession. I don't want to overpay. Well, here are house prices over history in Alberta specifically, tracking from around 2006 to now, okay? So basically house prices more than doubled in that few years after 2006. And then, you know, we've had a little bit of boom bust in Alberta, but over time, that's fairly stable, right? And if you're in Lethbridge, which is where I am, this line would be even more steady, okay? But markets like Calgary do tend to see a little bit more volatility in their real estate because they track with commodity prices, whereas Lethbridge is a bit more stable. But over time in Alberta, real estate holds its value, and yes, it has gone up. It is starting to pull down a little bit. So So now I'm going to answer your questions about that. So the monthly trend for real estate prices in Alberta is still an increase, 3.9% for the September report for Alberta real estate statistics, 3.9% monthly trend. So comparing September 2022 to September 2021, 3.9% increase still. If you look at the month's supply of inventory, and that really tells the tale about what the real estate market is doing, it's still a very positive story. And for much of the province, it is a seller's market. So across the province, we have 2.63 months of inventory. That is a seller's market. When you get to like 3 to 4 months inventory, then you're heading more into a balanced market. More months inventory than that, you're getting into a buyer's market. In Lethbridge specifically, 2.4 months inventory, squarely in seller's market territory. In Calgary, 1.63 months inventory, seller's market all day long. Edmonton, 3.3 months inventory, a little more balanced, but like still good, you guys. These are good news numbers for real estate in Alberta. So despite all the doom and gloom, despite the rate hikes, despite the fact we think a recession is coming to Canada if we're not already in one, because you know how lagging indicators look backward, right? So despite all of these doom and gloom headlines, I would say Alberta is still a really safe place to put your money. And if you're buying a house in Lethbridge, where I am, very safe place to put your money. And remember too, you're not buying a house to flip it unless you're a real estate investor. You're buying a house to live in it, hopefully for more than a year or two. Why do you think they do 5-year mortgage terms? And when I was in real estate, I always said, like, I hope you're planning to live here for 5 years or more. 7 to 10 would be better. So you're only going to lose money if you turn around and try and sell your house a year after you buy it, right? You have to think long term with your finances and with these massive financial transactions. You have to think long term. The best time to buy a house is when it fits your life personally and financially. Because quite frankly, we don't know what the future holds. We can make predictions, we can read the tea leaves on the economy and global events, but nobody knows for sure. I mean, nobody knew there was going to be a war in the Ukraine. You know, how do you predict these things? So in my experience, the regret comes if you didn't do the thing when you really wanted to and were able to do the thing being buying a home. So if you are feeling ready to buy a home, then talk to a mortgage broker like myself, talk to a realtor, talk to your family, and start the process of getting prepared to buy a home. And if you're not sure, then make the phone calls, let's have a discussion. But waiting and waiting and waiting for the perfect time to do something that's very important to you personally and financially, better to make decisions now and then move forward one way or another. You can't find the perfect time to get married. You can't find the perfect time to have a baby. There's no perfect time to go back to school. There's no perfect time to change careers. Take it from me, who's, I've had to make all of these decisions. Nothing happens by the book. There is no book. The only playbook is yours. So if you're feeling ready to make a move, then start making the phone calls. It's really as simple as that. If you have any questions at all about buying a home in Alberta or here in Southern Alberta, give me a call or shoot me a text, 403-382-7335, or look me up at karriflatla.com. Remember to like this post and subscribe to my channels here on Facebook and YouTube. And in the meantime, have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you for next Friday Fire. Take care.